You think knowing yourself will set you free, that it's the key, the answer, the map to some hidden treasure buried inside you. But the truth is, the more you know yourself, the harder it becomes to live with what you find. Because self-awareness is not a soft light in a quiet room. It's a blinding spotlight on every crack in your walls and every shadow you've been hiding. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. It begins quietly. One night, you realize the way you laughed at a joke wasn't really you, but something you learned to fit in. And the next morning, you scroll through Instagram, not because you enjoy it, but because it is easier than feeling the silence in your apartment. And suddenly, the coffee, the sky, everything feels the same, except now you painfully aware that you performing for an audience that isn't even watching. You start questioning your friendships, noticing how you shape your sentences differently for different people, wondering which version is real, until you suspect maybe none of them are. Self-knowledge isn't the warm glow you see in TikTok videos, being at a crowded college party and hearing your own voice from outside yourself while a whisper repeats, "This isn't you." And once you hear it, you can't make it shut up. It shows you not just your strengths, but your ugliest patterns. The ways you push people away, sabotage good things, and disguise excuses as boundaries. And even when you understand them perfectly, you don't know how to stop. In America, they tell you to be yourself. But no one warns you that finding yourself can feel like dismantling a house while you still live in it. Realizing parts of your personality are just trauma in disguise. That your confidence is really anxiety. That your ambition might be about proving you worth something in a world that told you you were replaceable. You start seeing the hidden pain in strangers. The man in the coffee shop touching his jaw to hold in words. The woman scrolling dating apps with a leg bouncing like time's running out. And the more you understand yourself, the harder it becomes to just be. Simple pleasures turn into metaphors. A kiss becomes a puzzle. Happiness feels like a trick. And you start craving ignorance. The way life felt before you dissected every word and choice. Because knowing yourself doesn't always make you free. Sometimes it makes you a prisoner of your own mind. And in quiet moments, you think about the friends you wouldn't have doubted, the jobs you wouldn't have overanalyzed, the love you might have kept if you hadn't picked it apart. But there's no going back once you've opened that door. You can't laugh without wondering if it's real. Can't say I love you without questioning why. Can't accept a hug without wondering what void it's filling. And maybe the real danger isn't seeing too much of yourself, but losing the ability to live without constantly seeing it. Because self-awareness is a mirror you can't smash, a tattoo you can't remove, the taste of truth that makes everything else feel fake. You thought knowing yourself was a destination, but it's really a never-ending hallway lined with mirrors that show not just who you are, but who they've been and who afraid you might become, and every step forward is also a step deeper inside. You think self-awareness will make you a better friend, partner, human, but sometimes it just makes you more alone. Because when you know yourself too well, you start to see all the tiny ways people don't really see you. And once you notice it, it's hard to stay. You sit across from someone at dinner and hear the subtext behind their words, the insecurity in the joke, the quiet desperation in the story, and you can't unhear it. You've learned the language of micro-expressions, the way a mouth tightens under judgment, the half-second pause before answering. And while you can read people like a book, it doesn't bring closeness. It shows you their wounds, their limits, the ways they will fail you, not because they're bad, but because they're human. In American dating culture, know your worth becomes a wall. You spot red flags in every shade of pink. The phone check mid-conversation. The laugh that doesn't match who you thought they were. And you end up halfway through a relationship already mourning its end. It's not just love, it's ambition. In college and work, self-awareness feels like running with bricks in your backpack because you see the corporate games, the rewards for compliance, the trophies for pretending, and you can't play along without feeling like a fraud. You watch people hustle for shinier cages, knowing the cost in burnout and joy. And so you pull back from parties, competitions, people who measure life in likes, dollars, job titles, telling yourself you're protecting your peace, though sometimes it feels like isolation. Late at night, city lights bleeding through your blinds. You catch your reflection and wonder if you like this version of you, the one always analyzing, dissecting, standing outside the moment, laughing while thinking about the psychology of humor, crying while tracing the memory that caused it, falling in love while tracking signs of its end. It's living as both actor and critic, performing while scribbling notes on your own delivery, envying those who just live without reviewing the footage. In a country where loneliness is epidemic, you see it everywhere. Coffee shops full of laptops, dating apps full of endless swipes, weekends packed with noise to hide the silence. Sound you recognize. How many connections are convenience? How many friendships are shared geography? How many loves are mutual distractions, unable to pretend otherwise? Ignorance is bliss, not because truth is unbearable, but because it leaves you nowhere to hide. Knowing yourself means knowing your motives, manipulations, when you're using someone for comfort and when they're using you, making it harder to forgive, harder to stay. And maybe the deepest danger is seeing the gap between who you are and who you wish you could be. The habits you swore to break still clinging to you. The echoes of old wounds shaping the way you move, speak, and love proof that self-awareness doesn't guarantee self-improvement, only clearer flaws. You can map your soul completely, but maps don't move you. They just show the mountains you still have to climb, and some days you're too tired to climb. In the quiet, you wonder if there's a way to know yourself without losing yourself, to see the patterns without living inside them, to hold the truth without letting it weigh you down. But that's a question you haven't answered yet. There's something dangerously silent about losing control of your emotions. It's not always the shouting, the slamming doors, or even the tear-streaked face in the mirror after the dust settles, but the slow erosion of how people see you, the way trust frays thread by thread until they no longer take you seriously. The first time you snap, they might forgive you and make excuses. The second time, they become cautious and watch for signs. And by the third, they're not trying to connect, only to protect themselves. Because the moment you let anger, jealousy, or insecurity take the wheel, you stop being in control, and your emotions, rivals who ignore rules, consequences, and everything in their path take over, burning the ground you stand on and caring only about winning the moment, even if it costs you the war, leaving bridges burned, relationships ended, and nothing but ash and regret. The worst part is people won't tell you when they've lost respect. They'll just change shorter answers, shallower conversations, avoiding vulnerability because respect can't be forced, only earned through composure. By being reliable, not just in calm, but in chaos, handling conflict without letting it consume you, staying steady when provoked, keeping dignity when it's under attack, and knowing when to let emotions speak and when to silence them. Because, like children in the back seat, they may scream and warn of danger, but must never drive. And you must hold the wheel, steer through storms, adjust your sails when anger rises, jealousy whispers, or fear grips you, deciding whether these feelings guide your compass or are simply whether to navigate. As the leaders you admire did, ensuring chaos with patience, strategy, and clarity, knowing a single outburst can undo years of trust. Life will test you with people who push your buttons and moments begging for reaction, leaving you at a crossroads. Release the fire now and live with consequences, or hold your tongue, breathe, walk away, and keep your power, because if you can't control yourself, everyone else will decide your worth. But if you master yourself, you become unpredictable in the best way, with calm as power, composure as shield, and your mind truly yours. So, when the storm comes, as it surely will, you must ask, am I holding the wheel? Or have I already handed it over? Because once you do, it's not just your emotions driving, it's your entire life in the back seat.